Companies that do implement diversity in a change management way, normally triggered by the customer actually. So the customer demand from different segments in their markets that they operate would normally trigger that. So for example, L'Oreal, obviously operating in very different geographic markets, their strategy has to embrace that. And therefore, if you're operating in China or India or Africa, it's about tailoring your products and as well as your service to meet those customer demands. And that's where diversity, particularly for a large organization like that, comes into play. Social media has a huge impact, good and bad. So in terms of diversity, a lot of companies, many companies have been accused of going on the diversity bandwagon to help their brand. And so, you know, often you will see in when they're trying to recruit, they'll say we are diverse, we promote diversity, etc. And it just takes one tweet from someone within the company to completely dismiss all of that. So it's social media has made communications much more opaque, much more transparent, and they have to be very careful because they can't always manage it. They can't. That's I suppose the danger and the beauty about social media is that it's not manageable necessarily. But the ones that are typically doing a very good job have diversity woven into their structures, accommodate it, their leaders position and facilitate it, their culture embraces it, and they have a strategy. The diversity strategy is completely throughout the organization, and they have measures in place and they have accountability as well. So Lead to the Power of 3 is a change management process, and it's an integrated analytical tool that offers an integrated change management process for diversity and for leadership. So I start with leadership because for me, leaders are the architects of their organizations. I think a leader's skills and capabilities have to be addressed on 6 different levels. The top 3 are cognitive, behavioral and social. So that's where the model begins. Then I look at the key behaviors that facilitate diversity. There are 3. They're inclusion, collaboration and engagement. The third level is the strategic level. So how is your strategy aligned to your diversity strategy so that it is a proper strategy and it does not a series of disjointed activities. And then you get down to what I call the operational element. So the first 3, there's the leadership dimensions and the performance dimensions, the 2 I've just spoken about. They for me are the foundation of the model. So it's like a tree. You can't have a tree has to have, the roots have to be tended, a plant, the roots have to be tended in order for it to bear flowers and fruit. So does a diversity strategy. Then you get to the operational bit, which I look at all stakeholders. So I look at individual, team and organizational stakeholders, and I also look at the 3 strands of the 3 dimensions that I position, which are structural, cognitive and behavioral. So for example, if I wanted to look at how female leaders are placed into senior positions, senior management positions, I would look at the structural diversity element because it's about structure, and I would look at an individual, and when I hit on that particular button, because it's an interactive tool, sitting behind it are a series of methodologies or interventions or activities that an organization can focus on in order to generate more women into senior management positions. One of the tips that I can also give you or say with regard to how diversity can be embedded in organizations is for the people responsible for diversity and inclusion to be given more power or authority, let's say, and access to those who make decisions and influences. Because most times the diversity and inclusion people are kind of at this middle management level, and they're always playing catch up or just trying to do things that come down from the top rather than being able to influence. So they need to have a voice at a strategic table.